guys, I'm Sly, but this is another episode of Shot Ones, where I get to sit, drink, enjoy, eat, and find out about some top influencers in the spirit industry. So today, I haven't had a drink yet today, so I should pronounce your last name right. Matt Jacquinot.
Perfect. That is perfection. We're going to have drinks soon enough.
We're going to have drinks. Before I ask you a little bit about yourself, I will say I've been talking about tequila, bourbon, rum. I've never had an interview about Irish cream.
Well, hey, we say there's always a first for everything.
So Matt, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so born and raised in Southeast Kansas, so small town. Moved to Kansas City once I graduated from college, and then I've lived there for the last 15 years. Kind of started out in the bar industry, so think cocktail bars, I would say high volume bars in college. Yeah. And then morphed over into a little bit higher end. You saw the cocktail scene kind of start to come about in that time. Then moved over to the hotel side.
Okay.
And so moved my way up. I was a beverage director on that side for 2 hotels. So a lot of buying and just kind of brought all that knowledge with me. Now I work for this beautiful brand, 5 Farms.
What pairs perfectly with Irish cream? You know, most people, when we associate really hot, we think milk, right?
Yeah.
And so we're like, you know what? Let's add some really spicy things in here.
It looks hot. It smells hot. I can feel
hot,
it
right?
in my nostril, and I'm not even close to it. So I'm a little worried.
You're officially in the hot seat. You know, you see like Happy Cow and different brands like that out on the market. So I've heard, is it true that cows from County Cork, where 5 Farms is produced, and you'll get into that in a little bit, they're the happiest cows in Ireland?
Oh, 100% happiest cows. So I don't know how many people have been on a farm that'll watch this video or not, but here in America, you'll see some Holstein cattle. So those are the black and white ones that you get your milk from. Then you also have your normal cattle for food, obviously. But when you go over to Ireland, County Cork, southernmost county over in Ireland, if you walk the land, meet the families, see the farms. It's just so beautiful. The cows are honestly, it'd be like someone here in America's dog or cat. Like they literally all have names.
And their tails are wagging.
Yes.
They got little smirks.
They're living their best life.
Okay.
The grass, pristine. Think of sod farms here that you see. That lush, that beautiful. And the cattle, the way the environment sets up there, only about 60 plus of those days do they have to put them away because it's cold outside. But with that, they get to eat, enjoy life, take in the sun. You know, it's also a little rainy and cooler over there, but they have a beautiful life. And when you go meet these farmers and talk to them, when they start to show you the cattle, it's almost like when you talk to someone and they're talking about their dog. It's like their third child. And it's like he can go down into detail.
Okay, so I want to do a little sip first before, and then I don't know which one is the hottest or what have you. So
I think they're all hot from the smell.
Absolutely delicious, and we'll get into the flavor profile. So we have a wing here. We went with boneless.
Yes, they're bite-sized too. I like that.
And they're bite-sized. So we'll take one, and then you choose the first sauce, and then we'll and then we'll get into a question for you that's a little bit harder. Let's see if you choose the. There is an atomic in there. We just don't know which one. So there is an atomic.
Does that mean like on the scale of hotness?
So we just don't know which one it is. So.
I think this first one is the one that I feel like is the least spicy. I could be wrong, but that's why I'm leaning towards that one.
Okay, let's go for it. Okay. I'll do the first dunk, and then
I'm waiting to see your face.
Let's see if you chose the wrong one. I won't be a happy cow. Okay, it's sweet, no heat.
Yeah, that's really good. Like I want more.
So you chose the right one. Ding, 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 ding. Nothing major.
Yes.
You won't be like crying or sweating as I ask you.
Like,
as I talk with my mouth full.
More 5 Farms? Is that allowed? Like
5 Farms. When we talk about single batch Irish cream liqueur, and everyone loves Irish cream, people associate it with after dinner drinks or really sweet drinks. What makes it single batch? Why don't you tell everyone like single batch Irish cream? How's it different than other Irish creams on the market?
Our company's not massive. We're not the biggest one out there in the world. So we're one of the smaller guys. And so the more people we can connect with and tell this story to, it truly matters. And with that, it's small batch because there's 833 cattle between 5 families that produce all the cream that we use in this beautiful product.
Okay.
With that, you got to look on the Irish whiskey side too. By law, I think all you have to do is about 0.5% of Irish whiskey in an actual Irish cream. Our president, Mick Harris, and then our co-founder, Johnny Hart, born and raised over in Donegal, Ireland, was very adamant about wanting to use a higher percentage of Irish whiskey. He's like, I want to have something made by the people for the people, with him being from Ireland. And he said, I want it to remind me of what my grandmother made when I was growing up. He's like, yeah, did we get a lot of it? No, but I got to try it. And it was fantastic. We use 10 of our 17% is Irish whiskey.
Okay.
And you'll be hard pressed to find that out there in the market. The other 7%, we actually use the whey. So we rectify that. So a lot of times you'll see neutral grain spirits used in Irish cream. So for us to be able to say that we use that much Irish whiskey in the Irish cream is a big piece to it.
Customers from, on and off premise or restaurants, bars, or people at home enjoying it. It's, when you have so much to choose from, it's like, okay, what's the difference? Because like I said, Irish cream just is, it's just not talked about.
Yeah.
We do trainings, like I said, on bourbon, tequila, and what have you, but no one's actually like, we're going to learn about Irish cream today.
Yeah. So that's what we're doing here.
So it might be a little bit of a misunderstood
you guys can't see on the camera. There you go, right there. Yeah.
That's it. I know, and everyone always talks about the bottle, which I guess, okay, so I'm going to choose the next one, and now I'm scared. Because,
yeah, those both look really hot.
What if I choose the wrong one?
I feel like both of them are wrong. Neither one's right.
I'll go for the one in the middle. I'll just go I'll go for, it is bright red. Okay, so I gave myself a good little, okay, that's spicy, but not.
Well, I can feel it. Like, it's got a little build to it. That's not it. That's like middle to hot, I would say. You get the vinegar, you get the.
But that's actually really good.
Yeah.
With you coming from the mixology side and managing bars and restaurants, what's the most unique Five Farms recipe that you've come up with? Or is there a favorite cocktail that you make that, and I hate that when you're like, you're a mixologist, and what's the best drink that you've ever made? And it's like, God, there are just so many.
There's so many, yeah.
Is there one
Every
that stands
one I try
out
and
for
make
you?
that's the best. I can say 4 or 5 farms. 2 that really stand out for me. One takes a little bit more love than the other. Today, espresso martinis. You go from California to New York. Such a popular cocktail out there on cocktail menus. Yep. With Five Farms, I call it a cappuccino martini. So take your traditional espresso martini, usually has a vodka, vanilla vodka, a little bit of simple syrup. I like a brown sugar simple syrup to go with it. That really rounds it out. And then usually a coffee liqueur, but add a little bit of this Five Farms in there, depending on how much you want. A little bit goes a long ways, I feel like. And it adds that vanilla, butterscotch, caramel. And people, like, you think about what's popular. Think of Starbucks, Scooters. Like, you go down the list, you could name off all the coffee places. People aren't always drinking black coffee at those establishments. I feel like they're there because they make a latte, a cappuccino, a frappuccino, all the things. And so adding Five Farms to it, I think, makes a great cocktail. That would be the one that would be a little more, I'll say, time consuming, obviously with 5 ingredients. Another great one, just think cold brew. You can buy it at any local grocery store. You can spend as much or as little as you want on that. And then the Five Farms. And I love Shanky's Whip. It's an Ireland product as well. Very farm to table as well as Five Farms. So I think those 3, you put them in equal parts. Fantastic cocktail, easy to drink, and hits all the bases, I think. We
just happen to have some espresso liqueur, so I'm just going to do a little, because it can be just simple, right?
It is bliss at times. So you just do about half and half.
Hey, it can be breakfast. You can't go wrong with espresso, especially during the holidays. I always say people who don't drink, and people that do drink more. But you can even have that as your morning coffee right there. I
probably shouldn't have that every morning, but maybe every evening.
But you could. Let's try this. Okay, so this looks like wasabi. So we'll go ahead. Let's see. So we'll have a different type of heat. Let's see. Now let's see how that pairs up with Irish cream.
You know what intrigues me? So on that, talking about the mixology side, what people taste when they actually have different foods, cocktails. Wasabi for me always just blew my mind, people that loved it, because to me, I was like, it reminds me of almost like if you melted down wax, what it would taste like.
Really?
Yeah. And like plastic and wax put together, like how they smell, like that's what I get. Like if you were at a restaurant and there's wasabi on it, I'm like, I'm good. Like, I'll leave it off.
And I just made you eat wasabi.
It's okay though. It's
but
like,
it wasn't
that's part of it.
It wasn't too bad. It was like a little bit of that horseradish, kicking, but not too spicy. Let's do this one real fast, because since the wasabi wasn't over, because like I said, I know that one's now atomic.
Do we know, or is this just like...
Not bad.
That's really good.
It's got some heat. Definitely hotter than the wasabi. I'm actually enjoying.
Yeah, this has been
just
great.
Sipping on Irish cream, and it's low proof. It's at 17%. So it definitely then rides that. You can pour it on ice. You can keep it in the fridge. It's still low proof. It doesn't. It's not. Your
you can drink the whole bottle and you'll still be standing. Hopefully,
responsibly.
Yes,
responsibly. Drink a whole bottle when you're having buffalo
throughout the entire
style.
day on Thanksgiving.
Like, there it is. Without. It's not what's. See, was it that hot? Okay.
I just got the chili.
That's just where you,
it was all
Irish
good until it wasn't good.
Or you
and I took a drink of
espresso.
water. I don't know how that happened. I felt it in my throat. Ooh.
Water intensifies heat, right? And milk cream actually puts it down. So you've probably taken a sip of water, probably just reignited it. You're supposed to be sipping your Irish cream.
Yeah.
Come on, Matt.
My cocktail right here.
Come on, Matt. Most people, have you seen anything or have people told you, I use this with my bottle at home, or bartenders using it for another purpose, or, what's your favorite use for this package after it's done? Because you look at it and you definitely think cow farm milk. What's your favorite?
It exudes 100%. Think old school milkman coming to your door. We actually sell it in a 9-pack, so it's got the carrying case.
Oh my God! Remember the milkman? Oh my God, that used to be a profession, right?
Right.
So you have a container or a holder that carries it.
And so these bottles are probably one of the most expensive coming out of Ireland. This was a sticking point for Mr. Johnny Hart, our co-founder. He said, I will not sign off on it unless we put it in this bottle.
Really?
He was like, I want it to exude the history of the farms, the dairy that they produced so many generations ago. And all of our families, 4th, 5th, 6th generation farmers. So dairy farmers at that. So that kind of goes back to let people know, like, hey, it matters what you put in this bottle, the time and effort that goes into it. So some of the best things I've seen done with them, and I will be 100% honest, I have one at my house, actually. It's out on my patio, and it sits and it has little flowers that come out. They're not real.
I was going to
say,
if they're real, most
they
people
die.
would probably say flowers. Yeah.
I feel like I have to travel for work enough that my flowers would die, and then I come home and be sad. So I just put fake flowers in there. But you can put
fake flowers
real
in your single batch Irish cream liqueur bottle. That's probably the most thing I think of would be
like a vase for it, and it's beautiful. And when you feel the bottle, it's just the weight it's got to it. That's not the liquid inside.
It's the bottle. It's the bottle.
It really is an amazing. It's all black blown glass. I feel like an older generation, they very much so can remember like maybe the Depression or harder times.
Right.
And so they love to reuse things. I have a lot of older people that come up and they're like, oh my gosh, you know what I love to do? I love to take my milk from the store and put it in my Five Farms bottle.
Really?
And then they put it in their refrigerator. They're like, it lasts longer. And I'm like,
does it really?
And I'm like, but I'm not going to tell them not to. So
does it? So
you're
going to keep drinking Irish whiskey in order to, because this is only 24, 25 ounces of milk. Is there a demographic for Irish cream?
I think, I give props where props are due. Bailey's built the market in the 70s, early 80s with marketing. But I think for us, we saw a gap in there. And it's like, hey, nobody's really doing a true farm to table. And that's so important in today's. People care where everything's coming from. And so we saw that. And it was honestly probably 9 months from conception to finished product. And you'll see, honestly, out in the market, we've done some great partnerships, but one of the best ones I've seen across the nation is Snooze. And it's a hip, trendy, like breakfast spot. You can find them in
places
California, Denver,
everywhere.
On the East Coast. And so with that, we have that partnership with them. They carry just Five Farms in those locations. And I feel like that's one of those breakfast spots that speaks to a generation of like, you're thinking probably 25 to 41 in that range.
It seems to be the sweet spot whenever we ask anyone, but it's like, okay, Irish cream. Is there a target?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to throw it into like the club life or like party going out.
Goosh, goosh. Bottle service right here with Irish cream, right? It could be possible, right?
I would love to see if you can help me get the club life going with Five Farms.
Just
I'll come down
some
here.
Glow sticks, and I'm just gonna be sitting in the corner
every
with
week.
my Irish cream. I could make it. We could make it cool, and that could why not? Trends start from somewhere, right? And they could be like, that girl looks so cool. and she's drinking Irish cream. Let's go for it.
I feel like what we could do, we need to come down here. We're in Dallas. We come down. It's hot here most of the year. We dress up like, you're going to the ski town. Maybe it's Colorado. Maybe it's Utah. And we dress like we're in a ski town. And then we roll up and we get bottle service with this. People in the club are going to be like, what is happening in here? I feel like we just came up with a great evening.
Okay, so now, we were given another nugget. So let's, now we know it's atomic. So,
oh gosh.
So I'm going to so it's not going to be just a little dip in there. Like I'm kind of like, I'm all in. I'm all in with the Irish cream. I'm going all in and I'm dipping my nugget all in there for the atomic.
I feel like this is going to be hot. My body's already like, what are you doing, Matt?
I have a nugget that's not cooperating with me, so you know what? I'll just.
You want a different nugget?
It's. I have a temperamental nugget. It's all right. Okay, so I'm going all in. I'm going all in with the sauce.
Man. I feel like it's a slow burn.
It blew from my mouth.
It's so hot. It grew legs and jumped.
Oh boy. Okay.
I can feel a little. It's like a warm sensation that's just getting hotter.
It's growing with heat. You know what? Oh boy, look at this. I am going all in with the atomic. I am doubling down on this just to show my commitment to this episode.
Oh, mine just went in
Irish
all
cream.
The way.
I'm going all in on this. I'm going to double up on the atomic. Okay.
The smell.
Oh, and we have little wet wipes
I'm
too.
not a big fan of the smell. I guess that's how you know it's real hot.
It's real hot. Woo! Okay. Now let's try a little Irish cream.
I shouldn't have gone in for the second one. That was a bad idea.
The second one was
real hot. I'm struggling to swallow this.
Just blow yourself back to Kansas City, right? Well,
wow.
Oh boy, yeah. That grows. Let's see now.
I'm a little worried about my stomach later.
I probably shouldn't have done the second dip in.
Woo! Yeah.
I'll admit I shouldn't have done the dip in.
It's like.
But real
hot.
I don't even think Irish cream is gonna diffuse this one.
It did.
Woo! Now that my eyes are on
mine's watering. Don't touch your eyes. Okay. Napkin.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
And
it just got heated. It got elevated. I'm sweating.
Okay. So I could then ask the next one. What's the most memorable moment you had while sharing 5 farms? Can we?
This might be it.
This might be it with the atomic.
I feel like Ryan Reynolds right now, and it's coming down.
Okay, that was pretty hot. I will. It's going to
speed
speed up the metabolism.
Is this a form of working out? Because if so, I'll start eating.
It speeds up the metabolism. I heard when you have hot things to eat, it speeds up the metabolism.
Speeds up something. It's
Oh my god. So, what do you drink when you don't drink Irish cream?
Oh, okay. Well, we got a nice little pour of some bourbon right here. That's, I would say, for me, with the history of being cocktail side, whiskey bar, hotels, I helped run one of the best whiskey bars. So from Scotch to Japanese whiskey to bourbon, rye whiskey in Kansas City. And so I garnered an amazing love for the brown spirits. And with that, love to get down on a good bourbon. So
like to get down with the brown, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and it goes perfectly too with Irish cream. I mean, because at 17% you can't add another spirit.
Yeah.
Like a bourbon to, kind of give it some lift.
Yeah.
And kind of.
I feel like this is gonna.
It normally has a little kick to
so
now we have to see if bourbon will intensify the heat.
Oh, it's 100% gonna intensify it. It already burns normally.
I mean,
in the throat, it's hot.
But it's a warm.
But on the palate, I feel like it's almost numbed at this point. I'm just like, I didn't even feel it on my tongue.
like tongue. What taste buds? What taste buds?
That's weird because usually the most flavor ever in bourbon, and
there's I still get I still get the Irish cream.
It's just hot all around.
When you talk about there's so many mass market brands out there, and I kind of feel the consumer is looking for something different that has a story, that personal connection. And we talk about happy cows, and then you reference dogs. I
think I need to get. It's so hot.
But I think what you said that's been the most interesting, that really differentiates you from the mass market brands or what have you. It's the farm to table Irish cream, and I've never heard that put together farm to table Irish cream, like clear from farm with the cow, So I think that's really, a main focal, that everyone should say when they talk about Five Farms. It's true farm to table Irish cream.
Like, I got half of what you said. The other half, I was like, it's so hot.
You're still focusing on not drooling. Like, am I having a stroke, or is that just the atomic? Like definitely you wouldn't want to do that.
I was like, was there a question in there? I don't think she asked me a question.
When was the first time you actually tasted Five Farms? Was it for the job? Was it before? What was the first time? And
yeah, that's actually a funny question. You asked that. I was on the buying side, and one of my reps showed up, and they would bring bottles, I would say once a week, every other week, something on that. And they show up with, and obviously this does not look like any bottle that you ever see behind the bar. And they set it down, and I was like, what is it? I was like, and then I got into it, started reading about it, and she was telling the story, and I was just like, oh, that's really cool. I was like, well, we usually have always used Bailey's, but it's really like farm to table. And like, sometimes you'll hear a story, other times you have to go do your own research.
Right.
And so I went and did some, and I was like, wow, okay. So they really do all this over in Ireland. Small families, cows. I didn't know there was 833 of them at the time. I just knew it was a small amount of cows. And so that was kind of the beginning part. And we were a high-end bar. And I remember thinking, it's like a couple dollars more than what I normally bring in. But I was like, I feel like people will appreciate it because the flavor profile.
Yeah.
Like if we did a lineup of 7 Irish creams, you'd be like, this one stands out. Like, if you like caramel butterscotch, the thickness, that comes with it.
At the same time,
viscosity.
The thickness. It's not too sweet. So when you think thick, it's not cloying sweet. It's the thickness.
We gotta get you a mic. We got any mics in here? You can use the bottle.
But it has everything. It has the thickness. It's the mouthfeel, but it's not overly sweet, and that's what most people associate with Irish creams. And every menu should have an after dinner drink. It doesn't even need to be after dinner, because espresso martinis and what have you. It's the Moscow Mule. Even in the signature drink list, there should be a drink, something on there. And I think this fills that void. And what's great is it partners with any spirit. It can partner with the cognac, a rum. We had talked about it, a bourbon, a tequila. It can partner with anything that's a focus, or any spirit that an account may want to focus on. Yeah,
and you can make it the main player or just a little piece of a cocktail.
Yeah.
It just depends on which way you want to go with it. And I think that's one thing I love about, you think bars, restaurants today. I go back 15 years ago when I was kind of just starting out, and very few bars had cocktail menus. It was more like you would see the Cosmopolitan, Raspbertini, maybe like a Flirtini, something else, but very much fruit forward. You might catch a Manhattan every once in a while, a Moscow Mule, but there wasn't cocktails like there are today. You go into any restaurant bar, now you usually see 10 cocktails, and it's a way they can showcase their bartenders, and then also the skills that they bring. So I feel like that dessert cocktail is a perfect segue that today is definitely on a menu, whereas 15 years ago, you would have been hard pressed to find dessert cocktails outside of a few spots, I would say.
So this doesn't look as dangerous. So
I feel like that can be
this could be, a little, actually.
You're about to start coughing. I can feel it.
Actually,
I've never seen this. What is this?
Actually, it's good. It's tame. Curry, yeah.
Oh.
So not
it's like a Cheeto.
Yes, right? It tastes like a Cheeto. When people pick up a bottle of Five Farms, what do you hope that they feel or experience?
When they pick it up, I hope, they're going to take it home and enjoy it with their family, friends. I think that's a big thing when you talk about spirits just in general, not even just Irish cream, but is to enjoy it with the people that you love. So from family to friends to outings to celebrations.
Right.
And I think that's apparent in our industry. Like, what celebration do you go to and there's not at least some form of a spirit, a beer, a wine, something there to enjoy with that time. And so for me, it's just enjoy that with people that you love, or enjoy even, and drink it. I would say it's the 99% rule. I get lucky enough to go to a few Irish fests here in the United States, and when we do tastings, it's unreal because I have other brands that I've worked with, from bourbon to tequila, and this one is a no-brainer. Like, people constantly, oh my God, so good, so good, so good. Whiskey, it's like you either like whiskey or don't like it. Tequila, same difference.
Yep.
But with an Irish cream at 17% alcohol, great flavor profile, all farm to table. It's hard not to please people. So, and if people want a little more alcohol, I'm like, well, hey, just add your bourbon.
Just
to
add
it.
a little bourbon to it. Add it, because there's still, Irish cream and coffee. It's a simple thing that's a go-to on a Saturday, Sunday morning. While you're sitting outside, right? It's still a go-to. I mean, this has been like awesome. Like I said, I've never had a conversation about Irish cream, and it's like, I think the key takeaway here is farm to table.
I'm trying to think anything else that I haven't touched on. I think it's big to talk about the families. Like, you can honestly, if you're in an account, that's you guys out there. If you're in an account or just meeting somebody on the street, you can just tell them, go to 5farmsirishcream.com. We will literally tell you exactly where you can buy it from in that radius. But then also you can meet the 5 families. You can read like a whole page biography on the generational, like maybe it's the great grandparents that dropped it off to their kids, then to their kids, then to who's running it now.
When was this established?
5 Farms actually didn't start until about 8, I guess it'd be 9 years ago now.
Okay.
And this is a great story too, kind of segued. Mick Harris is our president of our company. He was working with Johnny Hart, our co-founder, and Johnny was big in the Irish whiskey industry. And so he was trying to sell us some Irish whiskey, and Mick was like, Johnny, love you, man. We've done great business. Like, this just isn't it. Like, it's not a fit. But let's come up with something. And he was joking and like hit him on the arm and goes, hey, why don't we make an Irish cream from 1 cow? And like they both laughed, went on their own ways. And 2 weeks later, Johnny reaches out to Mick and goes, I can't do 1 cow, but what about 1 farm? And with that kind of started this project, and they came to find out, honestly, it's the history of Ireland. Their farms are very small. So the British and the Irish, little history lesson, don't get along that well. And so the British kind of imposed their will on the Irish. So if you gave your farm to your kids, let's say you had 3 boys and they split it up into thirds, that's how it had to go. You couldn't just give it all to them. It had to be broken down into thirds. So now there's all these small farms. And I think the goal for the British was that they could pick up land every once in a while in there. But the Irish are strong. They have grit, fortitude, and they said, you know what? We'll stick together. So now they have co-ops of 25, 50, 100 families over there. So they have buying power so that they can survive in today's world. But with that, our 5 families, they create enough cream for us to produce enough 5 farms to sell it throughout the world. We're not in every country, obviously, but
take over the world,
right?
So that answers a lot about how the co-op of the 5 families behind the 5 farms. It really speaks to the unmatched quality of the Irish cream liqueur, and people, they want to hear the story and that personal connection, and so I'm glad you brought up the co-op.
With those 5 families, you look at them, it's like they're not going to give it up anytime soon. They want to keep farming. They want to keep producing for the 5 Farms brand. Hopefully one day, maybe we get big enough, we need 5 more families to join in and help make more cream. Yeah, right. Well, maybe we'll just keep it 5 farms and just keep them right next to each other.
5 plus farms, 5 plus farms.
5, we can put on the back, 5.
Is there any talks of innovation or flavors? There's other Irish creams have kind of had some flavors and different things. Has there been any talks about innovation or keeping it just with the foundation?
For us, and I think this is across the board in our premium portfolio, is to make the best product that we can make. What our president says is if you make the best product out there and don't cut corners, it will shine through for the people that love spirits. And that's kind of, I would say, our ethos is to do it the right way.
Right. And
it carries through to the customer. And then once they have it, they say, wow, this is a fantastic story, great people, great product. Like, that's what I'm about. If we can fit that avenue, I think for us, we'll always have business and hopefully it just naturally grows on itself. Is kind of the goal.
What's one takeaway that you want everyone to know about Five Farms small batch Irish cream liqueur?
One take is literally the 5 families, the 833 cattle. If you take that away, you'll know that everything inside that bottle from point A to point Z has been thought through and just beautifully done. It's about 7 days. Honestly, we haven't talked about this, but I think this is a great point too. They pull that cream every day, take it to a silo. It's got our nice little Five Farms logo on there. And then every Friday, they take it over to Middleton Distillery. So think Powers, Redbreast, Very Rare Middleton. And then within 48 hours, produce this beautiful product that you see right here. And then it's shipped out on Mondays all over the world. And we do that every week except for Christmas. We give off so that people can enjoy the holiday with their family. So 51 Mondays out of the year, you see that bottle flying out other than Christmas. So it's a great story, great brand. And I think that would be what I would want people to take with them.
Well, and I think everyone out there wants to know this. You have the happiest cows. How do you prosecute cow tippers? Like, is that even still a thing?
You have to be, first, I don't think it's possible. Growing up in small town Kansas, cows, I don't care if it's middle of the night or in the middle of the day, if you try and walk up, they're like looking at shit.
Is there even
it's
such
like,
you probably can't even count, like,
no.
That's probably not even possible.
They do lay down too. People, like when they say cow tip, I'm like, cows can lay down, you know that, right? Like they can, like you see horses, cows do it too.
I think the only cow tip that's out there is a tip that a cow would say, drink
more,
Farms.
yeah. Because they heard from their friends over in Ireland, they'd be like,
that's the only cow tip we got going on over here,
they've
right?
been living a good life.
So thank you for joining with us and having
I loved it. This was great.
An atomic experience with me today.
Yeah, and wait for our video when we go to the club, guys. We're getting dressed up, think Eskimo style.
I'll be the one in the corner like this, like.
And I'll be the one in the corner with you.
Like, Irish cream all the way. So thank you for joining us.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
To good times and good people.
And happy cows.